Hello, everyone, and welcome to StuyEats. I am Nicholas Martin, and today joining us is Alec Shafran, class of 2022. Alec, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Alec. I do sing, Latin. I'm on the debate team. I'm a writer for news. Yeah, get around in terms of extracurricular activities. Yeah, I'm super excited to talk to Nick today.
Great. So just to start off, how has quarantine been for you? Like, what has your experience been like?
So far, I think I've honestly checked off most of like the classic like things you do during quarantine. Like I've attempted to make bread. I went through like a period of time where I like work out all day. I've complained about the amount of work my teachers have given me. So it's been relatively okay. Thank God it's over. I mean like school. So yeah, here's hoping that we can come back to school in the fall, but for now, summer's right ahead, so that's gonna be fun.
I'm definitely looking forward to summer too. I've been just counting the days off until remote learning is ending, and finally we're here. So I'm very
Yeah.
excited for that. So you said that you started making bread. Is there any other interesting food that you've been cooking during quarantine?
Well, I've made like some things here and there because everyone had like such a busy schedule that like no one in my family really has time except for like 20 minutes beforehand and like put something together. Yeah.
Nice, nice. So today we are here to talk about a specific dish, and it happens to be your favorite dish, chicken.
Indeed.
So tell us about it. Like, why do you love chicken parm so much?
I think like the main thing is that it's like a very homey food. And even though, I don't know, I would say most people don't really make it regularly at home. So like whenever you get it, like even at a restaurant or whatever, it always has like this very like warm, heartwarming feel to it, which is something that I really appreciate. Also, I'm a very big fan of chicken and cheese. So very hard to go wrong with breaded chicken, marinara sauce, and mozzarella.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I definitely agree. It definitely has like a warm, like hearty feel to it. And I too love chicken parm. But I don't think I love it as much as you. I'm not the biggest fan of cheese and meat together, but I think
Um,
it's one of like I feel like it's one of the exceptions in my book. Maybe just because I'm Italian, or maybe just because like I've had chicken parm more often than other stuff, but it
that's fair.
it
Yeah.
always works out for me.
Yeah.
So, what has your experience making chicken parm? Because I know you've made it a couple.
Yeah. I've tried. There have been a lot of misses, that's for sure, because it has to be a very like it's a very particular in the way that you cook it, but also like several times been very big hits, something that's very fun to do. Um, it's I feel like it's a dish that's something it's very straight. It seems very straightforward, and it is. It's just like all in the spices that you add to the actual like chicken that really make it better and like more elevated, I would say.
I get that. So like simple to learn but hard to master, kind of.
Yeah, that kind of
I
deal.
definitely get that. I think there are a ton of dishes that are exactly like that, and it's a perfect example. So, what do you prefer to make it with? Like, I know some people use different kinds of cheeses. I mean, I know you mentioned mozzarella. Do you use mozzarella?
I feel like mozzarella and like a little bit of Parmesan is generally like the
Yeah,
best combination that's worked out
that's the
for me.
classic, I think.
Exactly, like that nice cheese pull from the mozzarella. Very quality viewing experience. I
Yeah,
don't know.
like you pull it apart and it's kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, I know what you're saying. Um, I've actually tried making chicken parm with like Swiss cheese before because
Oh,
like
how'd that work out?
it was it wasn't that bad. Like so like the reason is because like I like leftover like chicken cutlets, like just like breaded chicken and leftover tomato sauce from like pasta night, and but like no mozzarella cheese. but I did have like sliced Swiss cheese in like those like, packages. So I was like, all right, like I'll just cut some like Swiss cheese and I'll microwave it with the leftovers.
Real
It
resourceful.
worked out pretty well. Like the Swiss cheese melted pretty well. It didn't have the same like quality pull apart, like look to it.
Can't win them all.
Yeah, exactly. But it was like a decent like chicken Swiss cheese like I don't know experiment. It tasted pretty good. The Swiss cheese has like a unique taste. It's a little bit more flavorful than mozzarella is, and it was definitely something that I'll try again. But I think that mozzarella is still the one.
Swiss cheese thing, that's interesting to try. I'll make sure to try that one day. See how that turns out for me.
Nice. So you said marinara sauce. Do you make your own sauce or do you buy it? Well, how does that work out?
So I try when I can, like especially when like time allows for it, because it's like it's really good when it like I guess like sits and like marinates in itself. So yeah, it's the longer it cooks, it's generally more flavorful. At least it has been in my experience. But generally, we do end up just buying it for the sake of time, especially in these past couple of months. It was busy, you know.
Yeah, I get that. I definitely get that. What's your favorite jarred brand or pasta brand? I know there's a big debate over like ragu versus presto versus all these. Oh, prego. Sorry. All these
I don't. Honestly, it's more of like what's available. So like if we have one, I'll use that one and then maybe add like a little bit of spices.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's
Yeah.
to add a little bit more flavor, but generally I don't not something I necessarily see a big difference in.
Nice. I get that. Like I haven't had a lot of jarred sauces to be honest because my mom always just makes her own sauce from like crushed tomatoes and then she adds like onions and all the spices herself. And
Nice.
I prefer her sauce anyway. I have like tried a few jarred sauces and I have to say like I agree with you. Like there's not too much of a difference. I mean there are some I think that like ragu I think is like maybe a little bit more watery or something. But I really like your idea of adding your own spices to it because I've actually never done that. Whenever we used jarred sauce, we just like straight up just like heated it up and put it with the pasta. We never thought to add our own ingredients to it. And I think that's a really great tip on how you could maybe make your jarred sauce a little more flavorful and more interesting.
Yeah. In my experience, oh sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so in my experience, I feel like it's not as much of a difference between the jarred sauces, but more so like the jarred sauces and then homemade. So that's more of like a big divide rather than between the two.
What do you know off the top of your head what spices you use with your pasta sauce, like what you put in?
Um, Generally, obviously like salt, a little bit of pepper, but my family we have like a bunch of I don't know why, but we buy like an exorbitant amount of like garlic powder. And we have garlic, but we just have so much garlic. Like I think we have like 4 different like jars of garlic powder. So we just need to get through that as quickly as possible before someone goes and accidentally buys another jar or like another like container, I guess. And I think it actually tastes good with the garlic powder. It adds a little bit of like garlic flavor, surprise, and also like a little bit of like onion powder just to make it less like homogeneous in flavor, so it's more like
I get that.
different layers.
Yeah, my mother always tells me like there's always the people that add onions to the sauce and there's always people that add garlic to the sauce and she's like an onion person, so she always adds onion. But like my grandmother, for example, she always adds garlic. And like you can definitely tell the difference between the two of them. Like the garlic sauce is definitely like there more, like you could taste it more, but sometimes it's like sometimes it could get overpowering is all I'm saying. Like
Right. That makes sense.
yeah, I've never tried putting the powder in actually because we just use like the actual like ingredients because we added our own spices. But that's a great idea to add if we have like garlic or onion powder, which I'm sure we do, just to add it to jars to be a little bit more flavorful.
Because the thing about like the powders is that it's a lot more forgiving in terms of like how much you put in. So like if you add a little bit too much of the garlic powder, you can always add more of like the sauce so that it sort of balances out. But with the onions, it's sort of like it's there.
Exactly. And it's also just a pain, like you peel the onion and
the whole
saute it,
process.
and I mean you might burn it anyway. What's your opinion on not breading the chicken? Because there are like grilled chicken Parmesan recipes where they just like grill a chicken, no breading, put the cheese on top, and put the sauce. What's your opinion on that?
I think it's like fine. It's definitely like healthier for sure, like less caloric, but I feel like the breading really adds that like little crunch. So like the texture is something that I feel like the breading is more there for the texture rather than the flavor. So obviously like you can go without the breading, but it's not the same experience when you're eating it when it's without the breading, but I still think it's good when it's without it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I prefer the breading too. What do you speaking of breading though, like what do you prefer to have? Like what do you use as your breading?
We just use like flour, egg, and then like panko, and then just alternate between those.
Yeah, we've tried panko before, but there's also um uh like containers of Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. Already has,
Interesting.
like it already has like different spices in it and like I believe like parsley, like dried parsley and oregano bits. And we usually use that to bread chicken with, and it turns out pretty good. But I know like whenever I would have like a chicken parm in a restaurant, for some reason I always feel like the breading is like more, like there's more breading present.
Oh yeah, for sure,
It's so strange. I've never figured out how they make it so that that it seems like there's more breading on the chicken.
I think it's not that there's more breading, I think that there's less chicken.
Mm,
That might be the deal.
that
Because they're
could
just
be
trying to
it.
get as many as possible out there.
That's true. That's true. So, moving on from breading, another version of the chicken parm is the chicken parm sandwich. It's very popular in like pizzerias and all that stuff because it gives you a nice chicken parm in like a sub, or I've even seen some that like serve it on a roll. So, what's your opinion on that? Do you prefer that? Do you prefer like fork and knife just on a plate?
I feel like it depends where I am. Because like if I'm at like fairies and I want to get lunch quickly, right? I'd rather get it like on like a roll and then eat it that way because it's cleaner, you can eat it quicker. Well, not cleaner, but easier to eat, I would say,
Yeah.
while you're like on the go in a hurry or like on the floor. And then obviously like in a restaurant, I'd rather have it like on the plate because just like cutting it in half and like having the pull of the cheese, it's a whole different, I guess, like mindset going into the food experience.
Yeah,
Where it's
I
more like
definitely get that.
yeah.
It's yeah. I've tried it. I've tried having it both at home and outside, like at a restaurant, both ways. So like I've had a chicken parm sandwich at a pizzeria before, and I've had chicken parm at a restaurant before, and it tastes pretty the same. It just has more bread. And then I tried making it at home, and the mistake I made is that I used too much bread, and the chicken just got completely lost in all of the bread. Like I took a bite, and all I could taste was the bread, and then
Yeah.
breading on the chicken. So it was like double bread, and it was just like a mushy mess. So whenever I'm
Hmm.
it's like, you know what, let's just keep the bread out of the way. It's not worth it to buy like an Italian sub and then like cut it open and then just stuff the chicken in. Let's just have it on a plate. But
Get straight to the meal.
exactly. In my personal opinion, I guess I'm like a fork and knife guy just because um I guess because the one I had at the restaurant was probably better than the one I had at the pizzeria. That's probably the only reason why. And also
I would assume so, yeah.
making the bread. Speaking of restaurants, though, do you have a favorite place to go um, to get chicken parm?
So there's this place in Brooklyn. It's like relatively famous. It's down on 86th and Stillwell. I don't know. It's called L&B Spumoni Gardens. Wow, I can't speak. It's it's not necessarily known for its chicken parm because um it's mainly famous for having like the square like Sicilian pizza.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah, I think there's a location down in Dumbo too. Um,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So it's it's not as much for the flavor of the chicken parm that it's like one of my favorite places to go to get it, but it's more so how strange it is to be there because it's a really weird setup in the sense that like it's like you're essentially it's kind of sketchy. It's like you have walls, right? You have an entrance and it's all outside. So there are tables outside as like park benches, right? You get your food at a window or you can go inside. And then you generally like come out, sit down on one of the park benches, you're eating your food, and there are people walking by, cars like driving by, there's a gas station across the street, a car wash right next to it. It's a strange ambiance, but it's very like homey in the same way that like the chicken parm is, where it's like it's always suspiciously warm even in the summer. It's like you walk in, you're like, it should not be this hot in here. Like I was just outside shivering and now I'm in here sweating like crazy, which is weird, but it's like a very heartwarming type of vibe, very homey, just like chicken parm is, and that's one of my favorite places to go,
That's
I would say.
I love that the environment around it matches the food that you're having because I think that really elevates the experience. When you
Yeah,
went
for sure.
to have a sub or did you have just on a plate?
They generally give it to you on like a sub, but they also have it on just like a plate. This
Okay.
really sketchy like paper plate that they give it to
Uh,
you, and it's like you can barely carry it because it's hot, but it's a paper plate. You don't know why they gave it to you on a paper. It's a whole experience, but definitely one worth having.
nice. So with first of all, is that the best chicken parm you've ever had?
Oh no, definitely not.
Oh,
Definitely,
then tell me what's the best parm you've ever had?
I think it's on this place in Williamsburg. It's on like Grand Street near like Marcy.
Okay. Okay.
It's called like
I know,
M.
like personally, like it's a great food destination.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's called like Emmy Squared.
Okay, I've heard of that. Yes.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Honestly, so good because like all the flavors, all the spices, like the pull of like the cheese and stuff, it's incredible. 100% recommend it.
And was that a sandwich or is that on the plate?
No, it's like a restaurant.
Oh, okay. So they gave it to you on a plate. Nice.
Yeah.
One last question about parm, and this has to do not with parm, but what you have with it. So, what kind of sides do you usually have with chicken parm, or do you just eat it alone?
Generally, I feel like it's one of those things that you eat alone, but I feel like to sort of like counterbalance the the heartiness of the chicken parm, I think it's best to have like a salad. Sort of like you're like eating the chicken parm and it's like very like heartwarming and stuff like that. but then you go to the salad, it's like refreshing, crisp. That contrast is something that I enjoy very much.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think that's the perfect pairing as well. Do you have any last remarks? Anything you want to add? Shout outs?
Uh, no, I don't think so.
Great. Then that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Alec, for joining us in this chicken parm conversation.
Thank you so much for having me. I had an incredible time.
And that's it for today, everyone. I'm Nicholas Martin, signing
And
off.
I'm Alec Shafran. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.